of society and just government of men. We beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servant whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this land. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this house assembled. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country, and of those whose interest thou hast committed to our church. Amen.
Correction and approval of records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13 June 2023.
Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13 June 2023 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member move a motion for the correction and approval of the said record of votes and proceedings? The member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion for the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13 June 2023 be corrected and approved.
Any seconder? The member for Basse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13 June 2023 be approved. Any issue or issues or observations from honorable members may do so by raising their constituency tag, and we will look at the record of votes and proceedings page by page. We begin with page 1. Any issue or issues or observation by way of correction on page 1? Can you move to page 2? Any issue on page 2? Page 3? Nyani, the member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 3, I'm seeing my name under those absent without permission, and I was on the same official mission with Honorable Bakari Kora and Honorable Abseni Sise.
Official mission to where?
A letter was minuted in our pigeonholes for us to attend the Tostan program. We were there together.
For CRR North, yes, that's correct. On page 3, the member for Nyani, I think the names from CRR North were given permission to attend an official function. Table office not down, and you remove them from those who absent without permission. Yes. On page 3, page 4 now. Page 4. Can you move to page 5? Jara Central, the member for Jara Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Page 5, after the list of ministers, the first paragraph there, at the invitation of the Honorable Speaker, there is a word, Article D. preceding His Excellency, so that this should be omitted.
That's correct. Page 5. After the names of ministers, after number 13, you add the invitation of the Honourable Speaker, the His Excellency. So he's proposing for us to delete the word D. Da. Any order? The member for Woolly is?
Yes, apart from that, in that same page, number 6, the list of ministers, the Minister for Basic and Secondary Education. The FOR.
Yes, number 6, Honorable Minister, Basic and Secondary. He's proposing it to read Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education. 4, the word 4 is missing. Any other issue? Page 6, can we move to? Oh, that's all. Remember for Nyani?
Honorable Speaker, sorry for taking you back to page 5. At the invitation, if you look at where they say responded to issues raised and wound up the debate. Is it wound up the debate or wind up the debate?
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you very much, honorable members. And I put the correction. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13th June 2023. Sorry, I'll take it again. That's the wrong. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13 June 2023 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Questions for oral answer.
Honorable members, as per the order paper and order 14.1 of the standing orders, today is question for oral answers. Furthermore, as a reminder, clause 43 of the standing orders limited supplementary questions to 7 in total, 2 for the honorable member asking the question and 5 among the members. Therefore, we will proceed with the honorable minister's schedule for today to give their oral answers. Thank you very much. We may now proceed, and I will. Clerk, please.
Questions for oral answer by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, you may take the podium. Please take the podium. Question number 110 of 2023 by the Honorable Member for BANJUL North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Attorney General, the Minister for Justice, update this August Assembly on the status of the draft constitution and why the executive cannot still reintroduce it to the National Assembly for consideration.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to all the members. Following the failure of the draft constitution to pass the third reading, we realized that while the public consultations were elaborate, there was minimal emphasis on engagement with political actors. This gave rise to an urgent need to initiate political dialogue. In this regard, mediation was seen as the most desirable option. The Attorney General was given cabinet approval to negotiate/mediate the said draft with the political actors and other stakeholders. The ministry felt the need to engage with its traditional partners and as such reached out to International IDEA, an international NGO which has done a lot of work in the Gambia and internationally on constitutional matters. Our choice of IDEA is due to the belief that being an independent institution and having the expertise in constitutional building process, they are the best partner to accompany us in the mediation process. We are therefore partnering with them in supporting the mediation process among the political actors towards the success of the draft constitution. It is important to note that the ministry is not developing or creating a new draft. We are mediating on the contentious issues raised by honorable members during the debate of the draft constitution with the aim to reaching consensus. Given that there is consensus on most of the provisions of the draft constitution, the issue that has arisen now is how the amendments of the consensus issues should be carried out. The two options circulated at the moment is for either the Ministry of Justice to update the draft before sending it to the National Assembly, or for the draft to be sent to the National Assembly in its current form and subsequently be updated at the level of the House. IDEA has secured funding to commence the process of reviving the draft. However, one of the condition precedent is for them to set up a country office. That process is currently in the final stages, and we are confident that the work of reviving the draft constitution will begin in earnest by the end of this quarter.
Yeah, please go ahead for a supplementary question.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister for Justice, are you affirming to this August Assembly that the drafting process was not all-inclusive?
No. What the response was trying to say is the drafting process was well done and was all-inclusive. All necessary consultations were made, but that is towards the content of the document. But the process of bringing it to life is also a political process, which we did not pay much attention to. And as a result, it suffered the fate that it suffered. So I'm not talking about the consultation as to what should go into the content of the document, but the consultation as to what the journey of the document until it becomes a document. That is the aspect that I said was missing. So those who drafted the document did a good job. Everybody was consulted locally and internationally, and we were all witness to that.
I think that's fine. Thank you.
You are satisfied. Member for Latikunda Sabeji.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Minister, I still see lack of political will to bring this constitution back to the National Assembly. Because for me, consultation, public consultation, all political actors we have consultation.
Honorable Member?
Yes?
Please ask your question.
I want the Honorable Minister to explain what he meant by the ministry to update, or either the National Assembly to update what do you mean by this update, please?
Thank you. What I'm saying is we launched immediately the constitution collapsed in the House. We launched a political dialogue. In that dialogue, political party leaders were brought together to discuss the various issues that they disagreed on in the content of the document. And some amendments were done. This culminated into a high-level meeting in Abuja, where almost all the political parties, their leaderships were present, and they sat in a room. They went through the draft constitution, and they had almost all. I know that not everybody, not 100%. I think it's only PDOIS that did not attend, but except that all the political parties were in attendance. There are some changes that the politicians proposed, because there were issues of disagreement in the draft constitution that were not in the public debate. And when they sat as political leaders, they themselves, among themselves, the state did not interfere. I was in Abuja, but I was in my room. I did not even go to the conference room. I only go to the conference room when they needed me. So it was purely between the leaders of the political parties. And they have identified certain areas that unanimously among themselves, they agreed those should change. So the question, that question you're asking, what I'm trying to say is, we are weighing two options. Do we update those changes? We've already updated it because we projected the constitution and they have made slight adjustments. Do we effect those changes and bring that, if you want, I can say the Abuja version to Parliament? Or do we bring the original version as was done by the CRC, and if there's going to be any changes, we leave it to you people to change it? That was what I'm saying. This is the option that we are weighing. But we have got an updated document that emerged from the political dialogue. Certain changes were effected. So do we bring it back like that, or do we bring the original and you, the National Assemblies, will do the changes? This is an option that we are seeking various advice, but we will inform ourselves. But that is prerogative of the executive. We can decide what to do. We will bring the bill. Whether we will bring the updated one or we will bring the original one, we will bring the bill. But that was what I meant by that statement.
The member for Central Badiwo.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, are you telling us that you are waiting for idea, or even without idea, things will go?
I wouldn't say we're waiting for them, but we've been working with them on this project throughout, if we are following this constitutional development process. Because we believe that no matter how minimal, some form of consultation should take place before the bill comes to the House. Because the bill has been lying for a couple of years now. So when you bring it out, you need to, if we are to bring, for example, the updated one, the public need to be sensitized. Some stakeholders need to be consulted before we introduce it. So there are some elements some activities that the executive wants to carry out before bringing it. And we entrust them to do that. But with or without idea, the bill is on its way to the Parliament.
The member for Brikama North and Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, the mediation process that you're talking about, I want to believe this was the pre-election dialogue on the draft constitution. If so, were there post-election dialogue on the draft constitution? And if no, why? If so, has the political parties reaffirmed their positions?
Honourable member, please ask your question. Please. Honourable member, please ask your question. One question, please.
Honourable Minister, the political dialogue process that you are talking about, was it the pre-election dialogue? If so, were there a post-election dialogue on the draft constitution, on the consensus issues that you talk about?
Certainly this was before the December 2021 elections. So it was pre. Now this is the some of the areas we are advising ourselves and we're seeking expert advice, and that's linked to the previous question. That's where IDEA is working on. Do we need to reconfirm? Do we have to have a small dialogue first, again, to reconfirm positions before we come to the House? This is something we are advising ourselves. Once we're clear about those things, we will come. We're just being careful of not opening up the whole process all over again, because we already have a document. So we're trying to see the optimal way of making use of the resources and seeking the best advice before introducing the bill. But certainly, it was pre-election, and whether your positions are the same now that elections are behind us is something we can confirm probably by opening up a small dialogue again, and then parties can reconfirm their positions before we bring the bill. But to me, irrespective of whatever the parties does before the bill comes here, if it comes here, you have an absolute authority to change anything that you will change anyway. So, but we realize the importance of seeking some form of political consensus before coming to the House. Yeah.
The member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for the floor. Honourable Minister, what is your legal advice in reintroducing the bill again, draft constitution in its original form, haven't been failed in the Parliament, bring it again in its originality again? What's the legal advice on that? And are you also thinking about second thought of reviewing the existing constitution? Thank you.
So 2 questions on. No, it's okay. It's all right.
No,
I will answer both. It's all right.
You know, that's what the tool.
Well, with the permission of the Speaker.
If you answer both, you are setting a precedent.
You know, Honorable Attorney General, you know, the two leaders, they try to beat the system. They both asked 2 questions.
Thank you. This is not mainly a legal issue per se. Bringing it in its original form or whatever. What I observed is when it came and failed the first time, it was because there was a massive campaign that this August Assembly should not and must not change anything. So it's either it goes as it is or it's rejected. I'm not too sure whether this is still the position anymore, because we paid dearly for that. All right? If there is going to be an option, and I believe legally, that you always have an option, any kind of bill, including a constitutional bill, you have a right to effect changes, because it's just a bill. So if you are going to exercise that right to effect changes, then bringing the original form to me is not a problem, because so long as you're going to effect changes and make it better in your view, I bring in the original form or the updated form, let the constitution just come. So I think the problem with the first attempt was Parliament was given only 2 options, approve it or reject it. But you cannot change. There was no middle ground. And Parliament decided if we are not going to change it, then we will not allow it to go.
Point of observation. Point of observation.
So.
Point of observation.
No.
Correction.
No. Order. No, please. No. Member for Lower Badibu. Please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Please. Majority Leader, please.
You did mention that you are planning to meet those you call political.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, please.
Your second question was, am I thinking of amending the current constitution? Yeah, of course, until we have a new constitution, there will always be a need, if the need arises, to change anything in the existing constitution. Of course, yes. And in fact, currently we're receiving requests to effect certain amendments. So until we have a new constitution to replace the current one, laws are meant to evolve. All right? So as the need arises for us to change it to suit our needs, we will always come back here and effect change on it. Yeah? Until we get a new one to replace it.
Thank you. The member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you once again, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, you did mention that you are planning to meet those you call political actors. My question is, how soon are you planning to meet those political actors? Thank you.
Hopefully before end of this quarter. Well, the whole activities, because we have a work program, the whole activities of relaunching, or if you like, reviving the constitutional process will start before end of this quarter. That particular activity, I don't know where, on top of my head, I can't remember where on the work program is it. But we have a full work program of reviving the constitution, and in that program, one of the key activities is engagement with political actors. But the relaunch of that work program will likely be before end of this quarter.
Thank you very much. Question number 111 of 2023 by the member for Combo South.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, could the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Justice update this August Assembly on the status of implementation of the Never Again Memorial Act and the inscription of the names of the victims of the former dictator Yaya AJJ Jammeh on the wall?
Attorney General.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Member for Combo South. Plans are still in place to carry out this very important memorialization initiative that we believe will bring much needed closure to the victims of the former president, and that also serve as a testament of our resolve to ensure that these atrocities never reoccur in the Gambia. Following the release of the white paper, which conveyed the president's intention to rename the arch, the government set to work on the elaborate implementation plan. This plan was finalized, approved by Cabinet, and released on the 12th of May 2023. This plan recognizes the fact that memorialization will need to be elaborate and consultative. Accordingly, the plan envisages the setting up of a steering committee under the National Center for Arts and Culture, NCAC, to spearhead memorialization efforts in the third quarter of 2023. Consultations will also be held with victims and victims-led organizations on the development and implementation of the comprehensive national memorialization framework. Finally, the renovation and official renaming of the arch is slated to occur in the fourth quarter of this year at the anticipated cost of about $12 million. We do not intend for this to be the only memorialization project, but intend to carry out several memorialization initiatives across the country in consultation with the victims, victim-led organizations, and under the guidance of the steering committee on memorialization. We remain available. That's okay. Thank you. That's the end of the class. Thank you.
Honourable Member.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for the updates. The memorialization process that you're talking about, who is going to lead the processes in the regions?
We have a national steering committee, so I believe they will cover the entire country. There's a committee chaired by the NCAC.
Yes, Honourable Member for Combo South.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Minister, the report of the Health Committee was laid here on the ACI, and there was a recommendation which was accepted to also include the names of the 70 children who died from ACI to be part of this memorialization act. Was that communicated to your office? Yes, it's linked.
No.
No, it's...
No, it is not linked.
It's linked. It's linked, please.
No.
Speaker, what's your verdict? Can I proceed and answer?
It's linked.
That is not linked.
No, it's not linked.
That is not
connected.
Please, order. Please, members, please, order.
It's not linked.
Don't use your mic, please. Member for Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. I just want to find out from the Honourable Minister whether there are plans to construct another victim center for the PPP government.
This question is
No, please. Please, Honourable Speaker. Member for Fonyi Bondali. Member for Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, will those before Jemme and after Jemme also be included in that role?
Member for Fonyi Bintang.
If that is my question, if the IG is changed to the victim center.
Speaker, you have to rule on the first question.
Speaker, can you rule on the first question?
No,
or are you going to just keep quiet and call another person?
They are out of order. I'm not allowing them. They are out of order. I'm not allowing them. They are out of order. I'm not allowing them.
Honourable Speaker.
No. No, when AG is done, then I will come to you. No, don't worry. I'll come to you later. Remember for Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In changing that, how will that benefit the nation? To a victim center. I think if you want that, you should construct your own and name it victim center.
Honourable Member, please. That question is out of order. Fonyi Councillor.
Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, the victims of Jame include from, as per the set of TRRC, soldiers massacred in the Katong attack were left, Farafenye were left. Would their names be part of that victim center at the Arch?
The
Point of
Farafenye
order, Honourable
attack
Speaker.
and the
Point of order.
Katong attack were left out.
Point of order.
In the
Honourable Minister, sorry,
Yes.
there is a point of order from nominated member Kebalang Fofana.
I'm rising on 43.4. It reads.
Honourable, I can't hear you.
I'm rising on point of order 43.4, Honourable Speaker. 43.4. It reads, a supplementary question shall not be in order if it introduces matters not included in the original question and the answers provided. Honourable Speaker, we are specifically talking about the victims of Jame. And the victims of Jame are clearly known through the unfoldings of the TIRC. The Katong attack and Farafenye, we all know those were what? Due to coup d'etats, not by forces who were what? Managed by Jame. So the question is really out of order. Thank you.
Honourable nominated member Kebalang Fofana, the question is not out of order.
All right, so you will get your answer.
Honourable AG, please answer. Order.
Honourable Speaker, if you don't manage your house well, we'll cause noise.
Please.
Manage your house well, please.
Order. Member for Fonyi Bintang, member for Fonyi Jarol, please. Order.
Point of observation, please.
Yes.
Order, please.
May I observe, please, Honourable Speaker? Honourable Speaker.
Order, please.
Okay.
Please, Honourable AG, can you respond?
Okay, let me respond to the.
Honorable Speaker, if you cannot, if
Member for Latikunda, please sit down. Please sit down. Order. Order.
Point of order. Point of order in the house. Order.
Thank you very much. Fonyi Councillor, the soldiers who lost their lives in the Katong and Farafenya attacks were not originally recognized as victims. However, if you read the white paper, in cabinet, government have decided to recognize them as victims. So they have been formally recognized as victims in the white paper, and their families will be entitled to any form of compensation that any other victims will be receiving, and they will also receive a posthumous kind of an award. So their victimhood have been recognized by government.
Member for Joshua.
Please, let's maintain decorum.
Order. Member for Fonyi Councillor, please.
Honourable Speaker, you should put your house in order.
Order.
We cannot allow this.
Honorable members, I am calling on the member for Fonyi Jarol and the member of Fonyi Bintang, Honorable Tumani Sane and Honorable Bakari Baji. I'm naming you. You people are persistently disrupting proceeding of the National Assembly. And if you persist, you know the consequences. There was order, please. Please. Honorable member for Fonyi Bintang, order. We must respect the standing orders of the National Assembly. Member for Joshua.
Hey, Fanku. Honorable Speaker, during the Honourable Minister's response, he talks of spending 12 million on the Arch for renovation. What are the plans of getting those monies to access? Are there any funds available for that renovation?
I know this is the budget, and I know, I will safely say yes, it's available.
Thank you, the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, for those answers provided to this August Assembly. In accordance with Order 14.3, I hereby vary the order paper by inviting the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians abroad to take the podium. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, and Gambian abroad by Honourable Members for oral reply. Question number 179 of 2023, 177 of 2023 by the member for Serekunda West. He has authorized the member for Pakau to read on his behalf.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, could the Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs inform this August Assembly how much does running a full-fledged embassy cost the Gambian government on average, in particular the 3 new embassies, Sweden, Germany, and Japan?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and Honourable members of this august body. The full cost of running a fully fledged embassy is $75,010,880. The breakdown is as follows: PE personal emoluments, $802,080, and other charges $24,208,060. Please be informed that the Ministry is yet to open the 3 new embassies approved by this August Assembly due to limited resources, but be rest assured it will be opened during the course of the year.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. The Honourable Minister, you've indicated the breakdowns of these 3 embassies, and the capacity of these embassies will be different. Which country do you think will be the highest when it comes to sponsorship?
Well, I know that Japan is very expensive, but we are engaging the Japanese government to see how best also they can help us in bringing down the cost a little bit. But of course, all these 3 embassies are very expensive, but Japan in particular is very expensive.
Honourable, any other supplementary?
Thank you very much. When it comes to staff, do you decide number of staff that every embassy should accommodate, or that decision comes from the country that hosts the embassies?
No, the staffing depends on the sending country, and it depends on the availability of the resources. But I can tell you as we speak, most of our embassies are functioning with minimal staff due to adequate resources.
Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, opening of these 3 embassies, was it not an over-ambition?
As a foreign minister, I would not tell you that we are over-ambitious. If it depends only on me, we'll open an embassy everywhere in the world. But of course, I always say that when you don't have the means of your policy, you practice the policy of your means. And taking into consideration that these 3 countries are very important in our development cooperation, we deem it necessary to open an embassy in Japan, for example. Japan is one of our main donors. They contribute a lot to the development process of this country. Sweden is long overdue. We don't have an embassy in the whole Scandinavian region. So I think these are embassies that are long overdue. Germany, of course, you know all the challenges that we are having. And I think when you have a presence, it helps you to explain better your situation, and you can leverage on that. And one thing that we have to remember is that the more you are present in countries, the more resources you can get. If you take some of most of us are complaining that we need to travel to go and get visas or to deal with certain issues. It's due to the fact that we are not represented in those countries, and usually they cover us from other countries. So it's, as a foreign minister, I will say that it's very important that we do our best to open embassies wherever we can, even with minimal staff, but it's not being over-ambitious.
Member for Latikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Honourable Minister, if you look at the quality of people we post as ambassadors and deputy ambassadors, this is not actually based on competence. Do your ministry have any plan to reverse this instead of appointing them on political basis, appoint them on competence base? Do you have any plan for that?
Well, you know, appointed ambassadors is the sole discretion of the head of state, has been elected.
Can advise.
Honorable Member for Latikunda, please don't use your mic. Please.
Now, the staffing of the technical staff, that's the responsibility of the ministry. And of course, sometimes you can have political interference. It's not contradictory to diplomatic practice, but it's important, as I said, for us to have competent staff. Sometimes you can, yesterday I gave you the example of two of your former members of the National Assembly, who are not diplomats but by training, but who are doing extremely well in the embassies where I'm really satisfied with their work. But we are working towards having a foreign service bill, and that foreign service bill, of course, will put in place watchdogs. And I know the same politician will be very uncomfortable with it, because once you put that in place, I mean, the selection to the foreign ministry will be very rigorous, and the same people will come and complain. But for us, the most important thing is to put in place systems that will enable even the executive to be free from political pressure, and we send the best and the brightest in our mission.
Member for Kiang West.
Honourable Minister, the cost of the opening of the embassies that you've just talked about, could you kindly furnish this August Assembly with this information?
I think I've already given you those information. They are in the answers, the written answer, and I read it.
Thank you. Member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, we are talking about 3 embassies, and we are talking about which one is taking more money from us. I'm just wondering why Germany is not giving the leeway because of the number of Gambians that are in Germany. There are so many thousands of Gambians in Germany. So, and if you look at Sweden, yes, I can understand Sweden because it's not one place. But then why Japan is calling for more money than Germany, where we have all these thousands of Gambians and all the problems that go with that?
Well, that has to do with the cost of living in the respective countries. So when you send diplomats, it depends also on the cost of living. But if you look at in terms of cost effectiveness also, what Japan has been contributing to this country is huge. But the amount allocated to each embassy depends on the cost of living. Of course, what you will pay for an embassy in Japan, you will not pay the same amount for an embassy in Guinea-Bissau. But they are all ambassadors. But it depends on the cost of living of the country.
Member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Of course, undoubtedly, these 3 embassies are very important and strategic. These 3 countries also thinking in line of reciprocating the same gesture to establish embassies in country?
Well, our wish is to have, well, already Germany has established an embassy, and it's our wish and hope that Sweden and Japan will do the same thing. But this is something that you cannot demand. Yeah. You know, countries also look at their strategic interests and they judiciously use their resources, you know. So that depends on the countries. They will assess it to see whether it's necessary to open an embassy here or not.
Thank you very much. Question number 178 of 2023 by the member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Could the Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs tell this August Assembly the financial constraint confronting our foreign embassies?
Thank you very much. Currently, the missions are confronted with limited cash allocations and insufficient budget lines, especially rent, school fees, and allowances to cater for local staff salaries and warm clothing. As at end May 2023, cash allocation required to fulfill some of the obligations are as follows. Rent and rates, $29,743,236. School fees for dependents, $10 million. Local staff salaries, $20,055,159. Other charges, $10,682,157.
Thank you very much. Joshua?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, as you rightly mentioned, are there any plans in either for mortgage or buying properties for those embassies?
I think, Honourable Member for Joshua, this is the way forward. There are places where we know will be there forever, like New York, Washington, and many other places. And rent is taking a lot of, a chunk of the budget. So I think the way forward is to buy property through mortgage, and we are working on that. We already have the mission in Addis, it's ours, in Saudi Arabia, and we are looking forward to getting a structure in New York also. But that's definitely the way forward. It will be a huge saving for government.
The other thing also with regards to school fees and others, are there any plans in using the family size while they are traveling? At least it can cost.
I think already we are doing that, and it's, for me, it's even disheartening to separate the families, because we all know. Let's take the reality of our society. Sometimes it's difficult to choose who to bring and who not to bring, but already that limitation exists. So I think if we do it further, it will not be good for our staffs also, because when you go on mission, one of the things that you enjoy is to get good education for your children. So now when you have a big family, who are you going to leave behind and who are you going to take with you? That's very challenging, and we know our social context.
Thank you. Honourable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Yeah. The question is about financial constraint, and I'm looking, of course, not only on mortgage. If the minister is also thinking in line of engaging private partners to pre-financing, if they have the financial muscle in that respect.
We are looking at that option also, to engage private individuals who can help us build. But most of the time, when it comes to a country, you have to be also very careful who you deal with, because you have people who have money. If you don't know the source of the money, it can have a boomerang effect on you. So we have to be very careful, do the necessary due diligence. Of course, we have to deal with private individuals, we have to be very careful also.
Member for Latikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Honourable Minister, thank you for your answers. Is government planning to look for duty waiver and tax clearance on all the diplomatic missions all over the world? That's to negotiate with host government to give our diplomatic staff tax clearance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In most of the countries we have it. I was an ambassador myself in New York, we have it. The challenge that we have with some countries is that here we are not able to do certain things, like VAT, how to exempt the diplomats from paying it. And once you don't do it, they will reciprocate. Of course, they will not give it to our people. So the challenge, the onus is on us to have a system where we can provide them with the same privileges. But as long as we are not in a position to provide that, the other host country will not give it to them.
Member for Bakau.
Honourable Minister, the question is about financial constraint. To open embassies in foreign countries, sometimes it's business. If there are embassies that are not making good money for the government, with my advice, will it not be necessary to close down those embassies?
As we speak, you know, it's not only about making money. Diplomacy is about building relationships. It's not that, well, economic diplomacy is paramount, but some countries have strategic importance. You don't look at the money that it brings to you, but you project yourself into the future in case you have problems. Who can come to your rescue? And as we speak, I think there is no embassy that is not important among those we've opened. They are all very important, strategically for the Gambia.
Thank you. Nominated member Kebalang Fofana.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, since the question is about financial constraints, we know that the roles of these embassies are multifaceted. Besides diplomacy, they work on visibility, investment, and so on. Do you have any plans to have a sort of a multi-sectoral approach so that it can provide you with some financial relief? Thank you.
I don't think I get exactly what you mean by a multi-sectoral approach.
Okay. For example, if you go to, I would take, for example, China. With regards to visibility, the embassy there is trying to promote tourism, to get Chinese people start coming to the Gambia on tourism. The embassy there is trying to get investors from China to come to the Gambia. There's Ministry of Tourism. We have the Ministry of Trade and Investment. What I'm trying to say is, why not the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Trade and Investment come together, work on a concept note, and try to see how do you segment the cost. And in so doing, it will relieve some part of the burden of expenditure that you were supposed to bear as a ministry. That's why I'm talking about multi-sectoral approach. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's very clear to me. I think that's a very good suggestion. In fact, that was my idea when we have some of these ministries sending their staff for them to share the cost with us. And sharing the cost will lighten the burden on the foreign ministry. Unfortunately, they will be sent there, and sometimes they create their own island within the embassy, thinking that they depend on their parent ministry, whereas the burden is being shouldered by the foreign ministry. But I think there is need, in fact, it's fundamental for all the sectors that are represented in the embassies to work together to sell the Gambia. But it all boils down to resources. Because if you want to organize, for example, in China, an investment forum, you need resources. And one of the challenges that we are facing, you know, diplomacy most of the time is done in the corridors after working hours. Most of our ambassadors are not even in a position to invite their counterparts or business people in their premises. That too is very important because you don't even have an entertainment budget. So sometimes you, as an ambassador, you have to go out of your way to invite people, not in your residence. Most of the ambassadors will do that, but most of you have visited residents of Gambian ambassadors. You know the challenges that they are facing. It's very difficult. But yet still, they are doing extraordinary work, and I commend them. And sometimes, as I say, people will go out of their way. You go now to some of the embassies, even proper vehicles they don't have, they will use their own vehicles or they will rent cars to accommodate delegates. So that's why we'll plead with the National Assembly to look at the budget. I mean, you cannot send those people there, paying them a lot of money, and you don't give them the resources to work. That's very bad investment. You go to some of the embassies, you visited them, even proper computers they don't have. You know, how can you send someone in an embassy, you're paying him all that money, but you don't give him the resources to perform? So these are things that we all need to think about and see how best we can resolve it together.
Member for Sanementering.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Since the topic is about the financial constraints confronting our foreign embassies, Honourable Minister, is there any of the embassies that your ministry is owing in terms of rent or fees? Thank you.
As we speak for this month, I think I can say somehow, okay, we requested like 29 million, we received 29,743,000, and we received 23.5 million. So we run shortfall of, there is 6.2 million that we need to be able to get so that they don't have rent arrears. And it can be very embarrassing. Yeah. As yesterday, for example, there is one of the landlords who was basically ridiculing our embassy for not paying the rent. That can be a very embarrassing situation. But finance is doing their best. This month, I think, where we have challenges, we are running short of 6.2 million. But I hope maybe before the end of the month, they will be able to help us resolve it.
Thank you, Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambian Abroad for those answers provided to this August Assembly. Thank you. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honourable Minister for Defence by Honourable Members for oral reply. May I now invite the Honourable Minister for Defence to the podium. Clerk. Question number 191 of 2023 by Member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for giving me that chance. Honourable Speaker, could the Honourable Minister for Defence inform this August Assembly if his ministry has any plans of controlling the usual attack by the armed robbers in Wasu and Gunta?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members of this August Assembly. Good morning. Honourable Speaker, we are very much concerned as a ministry about the level of insecurity in some parts of the country. Regarding the unfortunate armed robbery in Wasu and Guntang, as well as in Dungukebe and also Laminkoto, I would like to inform the Honourable Member that the Gambia Armed Forces have deployed new subunits in areas where such attacks were frequent to support the Gambia Police Force. The military also deploys patrols in areas that have been identified as hotspot areas in terms of banditry activities as an immediate solution to mitigate the nuisance. It would also be constructive to add that in order to ensure consistent patrols and deployment of military and police units, it also goes along with the heavy financial and logistical arrangements. However, my ministry in the long-term plans is to have adequate logistics that can support the deployment of our subunits from the 2nd Infantry Battalion to Kofa, Wasu, and Guntan General area. Thank you.
Honourable Member, do you have?
Yeah, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. In his response, he made mention of deploying sub-units. So I'm just trying to ask, like those, are they going to be based in the areas concerned or they will stay in the barracks?
Usually when we deploy sub-units, they are detached from the parent main body, from the battalion headquarters, to cover other areas in the general area that has been assigned to the main battalion. So these sub-units, they can either be stagnant at a particular point, or they can be doing a lot of patrols in the general areas. Thank you.
Do you have any other supplementary?
No, it's all right.
The member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, how often those patrol teams goes to the borders?
Are you saying the borders? Yeah, how often? Which border particularly? You mentioned which particular borders are you talking about?
Along those borderlines in Sami and Nyali.
Well, of course, the way we conduct our patrols has to go along with also the way we plan to conduct such patrol. It doesn't mean that you deploy them all the time. We do not have such resources. But most of the time, they can undertake patrols within their areas of jurisdictions. But then to say how often we do regular patrols, all the time.
Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, in your response, you did make mention of the sub-units. Specifically, we want you to tell us about this particular sub-unit. How are they going to operate? Is it either they will be stationed at the barracks and be, rotating, patrolling, or you have a specific place where this incident happens and they will be based?
The sub-units are, like I have said, they are detached from the main body, and then they will conduct patrols. They will also base on some very strategic locations in their area of responsibilities, and then they'll be conducting patrols. When in the need also, they can be from the battalion headquarters and then deploy for a certain period of time, and they'll come back to base as the routine patrols may demand their work.
Nominated member Fatuke Jawara.
Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, apart from deploying forces to this area, do you have any plan to track this area to save our territorial?
Of course, there are plans to provide security to these particular points that you are talking about in exercise of our functions and the protection and preservation and defense of the territorial integrity. Of course, we always deploy them. We deploy the patrols, and at some point also, we make sure that we have at least sub-units that are based in those general areas. Most of the time, what we do along those borders also, we have a battalion headquarters that will have also units that are part of the main body deployed across the borders to make sure they provide securities to the general area.
Member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, could the Minister help us to understand what efforts these sub-units are having in terms of collaboration with other organs, security organs, like the NIA, like the police, etc. Because if they are just there without collaboration with those ones, it will be very difficult for them to track these armed robbers, because we are dealing with criminals, not necessarily other armies coming into the Gambia.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Of course, these sub-units do not operate independently.
They collaborate and they also join patrols. They also work with the other security agencies in the general area. This is our coordinating, activities and efforts that we do as members of the Gambia Armed Forces. We collaborate with the police and other security agencies to make sure that our security architect is covered.
Question number. Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader.
Honourable Minister, these plans to combat these attacks, do it include consulting with or collaborating with the Senegalese authorities since it's a border area?
Well, our troops are deployed in our borders to maintain security along those lines. We also have some collaboration that also we do with also economic forces that are also deployed in this country. At some point, we can also undertake joint efforts in our patrols as well. Thank you.
Question number 192 of 2023 by the member for Fonyi Bintang Kranai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Could the Honorable Minister, Honorable Speaker, the presence of the Senegalese security forces in Fonyi has been queried by the people of Fonyi from the beginning, as this presence exposed them to the threat and insecurity, which was evident during the clash between the Senegalese forces and the MFDC rebels. Could the Honourable Minister for Defense inform this August Assembly of the government's plan to address the concern of the residents of Fonyi?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The clash between the Senegalese forces and the MFDC is as a result of the ongoing military operations conducted by the Senegalese forces against the MFDC in the Senegalese territory. I wish to state that the Senegalese forces deployed in Fonyi are part of the economic forces deployed in the country operating under the mandate of ECOWAS. What we are aware of are some few incidences of artillery shells and other projectiles that landed in our Gambian territory during those military confrontations in Casamance. And we have addressed the matter with our Senegalese counterparts so that they exercise extra care during such confrontations to avoid endangering the lives of our people around the borders. And these incidences have caused also fear to people living around the borders. My ministry is observing the security situation along our southern border with Senegal with keen interest. My ministry's long plan also is to increase our strength deployment along the borders so that they will be able to provide consistent patrols around our borders and also to provide security for our people. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, as I speak to you right now, there is heavy bombardment in the border area around Jifunga. Could the ministry advise the government on removing the Senegalese forces in Fonyi, because they should only be there if their presence is needed by the people?
Honorable Member, your question is not about removing Senegalese forces in the Gambia or in Fonyi. It's about addressing the security issues when the Senegalese in Senegal confront each other, how to secure the lives and livelihood of our Gambians along the borderlines. That is your question. Can you ask your second supplementary question, please? That one is ruled out.
Then that's where I end.
Thank you. Member for Kiang West.
Honourable Speaker, during Honourable Minister's response, he indicated that they've discussed with the forces, the economic forces which are Senegalese soldiers, that for them to exercise extra care during such confrontations? And didn't you advise them to avoid confrontations with the rebels on the land of the Gambia, because that was not necessarily the mission of the forces on the borderland?
Honourable Speaker, let me be very clear that there is no military confrontation between the Senegalese forces and the MFDC in our own territory. The confrontation is in the territories of Senegal. Thank you.
Member for Janjambure.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, do your ministry have any plans to rotate these economic soldiers from one area to the other? For example, having those in Bara to be moved to Fonyi in order to calm the situation?
Thank you, Honourable Member. We do not have such mandates to rotate the economic forces in this country from one location to another.
Central Badibu.
Yes, Honourable Speaker, thank you. Honourable Minister, we all know peace is important, and when we say economic, we know that it comprises of different nationalities. And for years, the Fonyi people have been asking the same question. That's why we said, is it not possible for other economic soldiers to be deployed there than the Senegalese to maintain peace?
Honourable Member, I missed the other one. It looks like it's the same, it's similar to the other question. Because, no, the question is not about deployment or interchanging the operational or strategic locations of economic.
Honourable Speaker.
Of economic.
Honourable Speaker.
Please, allow me to finish, Member for Councillor. It's not about the operational strategy of economic presence in the Gambia, moving them from one area to another. That is to be determined by the economic high command in the Gambia. And I missed the other question. So,
Honourable Speaker, but the question is about Senegalese soldiers.
Let me finish, sir.
The question is about Senegalese soldiers present in Fonyi. Read the question.
Let me finish, sir.
The original question.
Let me finish, sir. The original question is not about economic in the Gambia.
No, it's about Senegal.
It's about the border and the...
It's about Senegal in Fonyi.
No. There is a point of order from the member for Fonyi Bintang.
So very much, Honourable Speaker. Point of order 43.4. On the supplementary question. A supplementary question shall not be in order if it introduces matters not included in the original question. The answer provided for the evidence of doubt, whether a supplementary question is within remit, shall be determined on answering by the Vice President, Minister, or members. You understand? Now, the parental question is, Honourable Speaker, the presence of Senegalese security forces, in Fonyi has been queried by the people of Fonyi. Now, this one is talking about the transferring. So that is the parent question.
No.
Honourable Speaker, you are not the High Commission here.
Okay, let me finish, please.
You cannot answer on behalf of economic.
No, let me finish, please. Please put off your mic. No, that is not your question. Your question is for the Minister of Defense to inform this August Assembly of the government's plans to address the concern of the residents of Fonyi vis-a-vis, please allow me to finish, the Senegalese and the rebels classes inside Senegal, not in the Gambia. That is your question. No, please, honourable members, please, that is the question. The question is very clear. You talked about they are present here, but you say they are concerned about the clashes between Senegalese forces and MFDC rebels inside Senegal territory, not in the Gambia. No.
Honorable Speaker, the response of the minister made us to further ask this question.
Yes,
don't rule out.
What the minister, in his response, he talks about collaborating with them to ensure that the safety and protection of Gambian residents and those living around the frontiers of our own territory.
But he went further to say they are not Senegalese soldiers, but they are economic. Now that's why we are further suggesting, is it possible to...
No.
Honourable Speaker.
Yes. Yes, there is point of order from the member for Janjamure.
Yes, Honourable Speaker, I want to rise on Order 43, number 4. Honourable Speaker, and I read, a supplementary question shall not be in order if it introduces matters not included in the original question and the answers provided. For the avoidance of doubt, whether a supplementary question is within remit shall be determined on answering by the Vice President, Minister, or a member. So I expect, before you make a ruling, that should have been determined from the answer that we're getting from the Honourable Minister before us, but not otherwise.
No, I am the judge of admissibility of questions, not... You are contributing. No. You see, the standing order is very clear. The member for Central Badibu is introducing new element of... Allow me to proceed. Of transferring and/or the movement of economic, which is not under the mandate of the minister, and in fact is not included in the question. That question is not admissible. Member for Janjamure, you are Member for Janjamure, please.
Point of order. Point of order.
23. That one is ruled out. Now, the member for Foni Jarol.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. And Honourable Minister, in your response, you still continue to claim that the soldiers, Senegalese soldiers posted in Foni are a comic. And then there is a video, a record, that the economic commander came out when Arna Gata was shot down to say that the Senegalese forces in Foni are not part of the economic, and still you continue to insist that they are part of the economic. Now, who is telling us the truth?
Thank you, Honourable Member. What I am telling you is that the Senegalese forces deployed in Foni are part and parcel of the economic forces deployed in this country, and that is what I know, and that is correct.
Thank you. A member for Joshua.
I withdraw, please.
Observe who? No, sir. No, you cannot observe me. Okay, after this. Yeah, you can bring it as a point of order if you want. But if not, at this point in time, no. Let me finish with the member for Joshua first. You are withdrawing? No.
Point of order, Honourable Speaker.
Question number...
Point of order.
There is a point of order from the member for
Honourable Speaker, I think these rules, the number one person to protect the rules of procedure in this House should be you.
No.
And you are saying...
on a point of order, please.
Point of order 38. Admissibility of questions. That is when we are writing questions.
No, read it.
No, it says, each question shall conform the following rules. They are too long. I cannot read all. But I want to read one to you. A question shall not include the names of persons, statements, and strictly necessary to render the question intelligibly and which the member cannot authenticate. But what we are doing right now here, you cannot say that that's against admissibility. Those criteria are meant for when you are writing questions for ministers. But during supplementary, that's a special clause of its own. I want you to read it.
Okay.
So that you'll be better informed.
Honorable member, please read Order 39.1. Please read Order 39.1. No. You are out of order.
We have not exhausted the 5 questions, Honorable Speaker.
Question,
Honorable Speaker. We have not exhausted the 5 questions. And
I exhaust.
There is our tax for these questions.
No, Honorable member. Kiang West, Janjambure, Central Badibu, Foni Jarol, Joshua, that's 5.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker. Point of order.
There is a point of order from nominated member Kebalang Fofana.
Honorable Speaker, we need clarity. And I will go back to 43.4. It states, 43.4, it states clearly, a supplementary question shall not be in order if it introduces matters not included in the original question and the answers provided. For the avoidance of doubt, whether a supplementary question is within remit shall be determined on answering by the Vice President, Minister or member answering questions on behalf of the Assembly Authority. Honorable Speaker, listening to you very well, are you using section 39.1 to overrule 43.4? Because you are admitting questions which introduces new matters and rejecting questions which do not introduce. So I think we should follow the standing orders or we throw it out. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No, nominated member Kebalang Fofana. Nominated member Kebalang Fofana. Those questions that I ruled out were ruled out.
Honorable Speaker, not mine. Mine introduced new matters and you did not sustain it. And the one you throw from Central Badibu did not bring anything new. So let's follow the rules or we leave it.
No, nominated member Kebalang Fofana, I have made my ruling on those in accordance with the standing orders. Question number 193 of 2023
Honorable Speaker,
by the member for Fonyi Councillor.
Observation. Can I observe? You are not looking at me. It's Honorable Ture.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister of Defense inform this August Assembly why the Senegalese soldiers continue selling cells that are landing in the Gambian compounds in Fonyi and displacing citizens internally, leading to residents abandon their lands, gardens, and schools around the border villages? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I have already explained earlier, the artillery cells and other projectiles that have landed in the Gambian territory during those military confrontations between the Senegalese forces and the MFDC, resulting to our citizens leaving their residence and other public facilities closed, is regrettable. We have expressed regret with our Senegalese counterpart on the situation, especially on the issues of those 3 cells and rounds, so that their military planners and those responsible for making those strategic targeting decisions will be very careful so that they can keep this conflict away from the Gambia. My ministry is very concerned with the security situation in Fonyi, and also it is imperative to know that peace in Fonyi area also means peace in the Gambia. And the insecurity in Fonyi as well means insecurity in the Gambia. That is why the Gambia Armed Forces have already intensified and increased their deployment in the Fonyi general area so that it will support the 4th Infantry Battalion operating in Kanilai as a headquarters to keep the general area safe and secure for the residents living in those areas. Thank you. So that they can go.
From 2017 till 2013, 2017 till 2023, being rigid consultation with the Senegalese counterpart, cells are still learning with the latest technology. Are you telling us they are ignoring your requests and citizens are unsafe to stay in the area?
I wouldn't say they are ignoring us, but we have put this matter before our counterparts and they have seriously taken note of this. And we hope that once there are such confrontation between the Senegalese forces and the MFDC forces, such kind of stray cells and bullets that lands in our territory will be avoided. Thank you.
The current situation in Fonyi region is really dissatisfactory for the residents. You as the Minister of Defense, compounds, animals, schools have been sold and others are building with their own money. What will be your role as the Minister of Defense in that particular endeavor that people are doing on their own?
Honourable Speaker, my ministry is very concerned with the security situation in Fonyi, and I am going to make it clear that those stray cells or rounds that landed in our territory does not actually mean that the Gambia territory is the target of such confrontation and attacks. Thank you.
Member for Latikunda Sabeji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister for Defense, the presence of Senegalese or the coming of Senegalese force to this country was to restore democracy. And for me personally, I have never been more hopeful about the democratic credentials of this country than I am today. Tell this National Assembly, when will the Senegalese soldiers leave this country? For the past 7-8 years, they're still here, and we have our boys and girls who are our servicemen. When will the Senegalese troops leave this country? Tell us, please.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Let me inform the Honourable Member that as to when the Senegalese soldier, ECOMIC would leave this country, that is not within my mandate as a minister. Thank you.
Member for Kiang West.
Honourable Speaker, the matter in question indicated that these incidents causes displacement of people from their various residents and abandoning of farmlands and gardens. Could the Honourable Minister inform this August Assembly if these residents have regained back their farmlands or the schools that were abandoned are now in use? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I think we have already dealt with this issue about the farmlands that have been restricted to the residents of Fonyi. A press release has already been made to this, and the economic forces deployed in this country does not restrict anybody from having access to their farmlands. The residents of that general area have absolute right to go back to their land and engage into whatever productive activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The member for Janjambure.
Honourable Speaker, my question was not complete.
Please, sir. Please, let's proceed.
I've talked about farmlands and schools, but he has dealt with farmlands.
Please, sir. Member for Janjambure.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, can you inform this August Assembly what mechanisms do your ministry put in place in order to remedy the fear amongst the people of Fonyi and the Gambia at large? Thank you.
My ministry is also working with the Gambia Armed Forces in our endeavor to enhance civil-military relations. Our deployments in those general areas are engaging the community to make sure that they understand that they've been deployed to provide them with the necessary security for them to go about their normal activities. Thank you.
I now give the floor to the member for Fonyi Bintankrana.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, why is the Senegalese government not taking you seriously?
Well, I don't have answers to that because I have the conviction that Senegal has taken us very seriously in this. Thank you.
Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, the presence of the Senegalese soldiers in Fonyi becomes a very delicate issue. As a ministry, why can't you engage the Fonyi MPs and some members of the community for a dialogue in order to sensitize them about the presence of the Senegalese soldiers in Fonyi?
Of course, we are open to that, and I think the honorable members, we have been engaging quite often. So same from the other angle also, we are inviting them also to engage. Thank you.
Question number 194 of 2023 by the member for Fonyi Councillor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister of Defense update this August Assembly on the investigation into the killing of Harun Najata in the early 2017 during a peaceful demonstration by the Senegalese forces stationed at Kanilai? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the incident that claimed the life of the late Harun Najata, I was informed that the government of the Gambia has sanctioned an investigation into the incident. Unfortunately, I am not privy to the outcome of the investigation. I therefore beg the kind indulgence of the August Assembly to give me time to engage further on the matter so that I can update this Assembly proper on the outcome of the investigation. Notwithstanding, I would like to register also my condolences to the Jata family and to pray that Allah received him in Jannah. Thank you.
Thank you. The vulnerable family of Harun Najata is still left with tears rolling their faces. No government echelon has ever visited the family to say sorry. As a defense minister, what will be your new approach as you are the new Minister of Defense?
Of course, I will also like to engage further to know the outcome of those investigations. But equally also, we are concerned about the loss of life, and we still continue to express our condolences. But we are always open to meet with all those concerned to express our feelings. Thank you.
The Senegalese forces who had shot Harun Najata to cold blood left happily a week after the death of Harun Najata to Senegal. A new contingent was sent to the area. As a government, what would you describe this?
Let me not describe anything further than waiting for the investigation. Thank you.
Member for Brikama South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, I want you to be specific here. The question is about the killing of Harun Najata by Senegalese forces. Is it the Senegalese forces or the economic forces?
I cannot elaborate further on this. I am not privy to anything that has to do with the outcome of the investigation. I beg that I will come back again and then further give my responses proper to this Assembly. Thank you.
Member for Sane Mentreng.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, was there any support from the government of the Gambia since the killing of this Honorable Jata, and what exactly was the support given to this family? Thank you.
I don't have any information whether there was any support, but like I have already indicated, allow me to get the report and then I'll come back to this House. Thank you.
Nominated member Fatou K. Jawara.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, can you please explain to this August Assembly what really triggered this shooting?
Thank you, Honourable Member. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't have answers now for that, but unless you allow me to have the outcome of the investigation, then I'll be able to respond.
The member, no, there is no observation question time. No, you know observation, you observe when a member is on, yeah. Yes. Member for Woolley is?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the issue of Haruna Jatta, or the killing of Haruna Jatta, in addition to all the other issues in Fonyi, is becoming an ethnic minority problem. And the denial of protection to minority groups is also a human rights problem. So I believe that my question is, what effort, what strategy do you really have to provide adequate security to the people of Fonyi so that the situation will be reassured?
The immediate security measures that are already on site is the deployment of a whole battalion in that general area to make sure that security is provided to the people of that area. Those are very important immediate action taken by my ministry and GAF to make sure that our citizens living around the general area of that southern belt of Casamas, that security is provided to our people to make sure they can go about their normal lives and businesses.
Member for Fonyi Brefet.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, as the Minister of Defence, have you ever visited the family of Haruna Jatta?
Not yet.
Why?
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister for Defence, for those answers provided to this Assembly. Thank you so much. Clerk.
Questions for oral answer by the Honourable Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
Questions for which due notices were given to the Honourable Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure by Honourable Members for oral reply. May I invite the Honourable Minister to move to the podium. Question number 164 of 2023 by Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, could the Honourable Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure inform this August Assembly as to when the might talk about the constructions of Brikama Mandinarin via Buffalo Road and Brikama Gunjur via Kasakunda, Nyumfele Madina, Nyumfele Road would commence?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The construction of the road linking Brikama and Mandina Ring via Buffalo Road is not part of the 355 kilometers of roads recently launched by the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure for construction nationwide this year. However, the government of the Gambia, in collaboration with the National Roads Authority, has launched tenders for the construction of roads nationwide, including roads linking Brikama, Kasakunda, Nyofele, and Gunjur. The procurement process is completed, and a contract has been signed with Areski for the commencement of works by July 2023.
Honourable Member, are you okay?
Honourable Speaker, it could be recalled way back 2020, the sale roads were part of the supplementary budget that was approved by this August Assembly for the constructions to begin in earnest. Why still the roads still cannot be part of the construction, as you said, the 350 kilometers, they are not part of them.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. There was a reprioritization of this particular road section following our engagement with ECOWAS as part of efforts to ensure that Gambia benefit maximally from the ECOWAS corridor project. You remember in some countries in West Africa, from one end of their country to the other, they have over 1,000 kilometers as part of the ECOWAS corridor. So the Gambia, having assessed our length of our borders from one end to the other, is about 40 kilometers max. So we had to realign to include Banjul Bara as part of the ECOWAS corridor project, to have the bridge over the Banjul Bara, which in fact in our last meeting here in Banjul, the engineers will be sent next month to do the initial feasibility studies. Then we also thought of including in the ECOWAS corridor project the road from the border in Amdalai, going through the Nyomis, then cross through Sitanunku to Bonto, put the bridge over the river there, then to Mandinaba, and then we have the second loop which will go through Lameng, and then include Mandinaring to Brikama, which includes this particular stretch of road that he's talked about. And it is all going to be dual carriage. So this is not going to be a cost on the government. So we thought it wise that we allow that high standard process to come in to cover this particular road rather than using the Gambia national funds. That is why we have to do the reprioritization and realignment. Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, you are talking of two things: reprioritizing and then for GRA to come in, which you said earlier on, that work supposed to start in earnest by July. Which is which? That we can rely on. The one by GRA or the one that you later talk, NRA, and the one that you later talk about?
The NRA one is the second part of your question, which is Kasakunda, going all the way to Gunjur, including Nyofele, Berending, and also Kasakunda. So that is the second part of your question. The first part is the one coming from Bafuloto into your constituency, crossing Brikama, isn't it? And then this is what I call, that is the part of the ECOWAS corridor. The first part of your question is part of the ECOWAS corridor. It will cut across Brikama, going to Mandinaba, then we go all the way to the border. It's going to be dual carriage. It's part of the ECOWAS corridor project.
Member for Latikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for the answers. Honourable Minister, during the budget bilateral, we had a very friendly conversation with your ministry that we should not engage ourselves into further road construction until the existing ones are finished. But lately, we have seen...
Honourable Member.
Honourable Speaker, I told you, don't always be obstructing me, please.
Okay, Honourable Member, please.
I'm fluent very well.
Sit down first. Yeah, I'll tell you. Come.
I'm fluent very well.
Okay, just sit down. You are doing very well. I agree.
Okay.
Honourable Member for Latikunda, I know you are doing very well, but also please remember that it's just to ask a supplementary question. Once you are given the question, once you are given the podium, you have 1 minute and to ask your question, and no laying foundation and doing very well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. So these new projects that we laid the foundation for, that is not in the 2023 budget. Where is that money?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. For the clarity, my role as Minister of Works is to prepare work plans for the construction of roads. How that money will come from, that's the responsibility of the Ministry of Finance.
The member for Brikama South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, this specific road, Brikama Mandaring via Bafuloto, this was specifically captured in 2022 budget to an extent that the president made a pronouncement during the Meet the People tour that this is going to be constructed. And we are into 2023. Up till today, this has not been constructed. And why?
No, I have not seen it in the 2022 budget because I was minister in 2022. It was in the previous budget of 2021. The discussions with ECOWAS started in February of 2022, and that's when the realignment issues came up.
Member for Fonye Bintang.
Honourable Minister, is this road among the top priorities to be constructed in your ministries, or because this is economically very important for the people of the country?
Thank you so much. Every road is very important to us because people are there. However, we have priorities among priorities. It is very expensive to do roads, and if we have an international sub-regional entity that wants to come in and partner with government to participate in our infrastructural development works for something that is not directly coming from us, I think that is welcome, and that is why we choose this particular route. It's a very important road, as you said. It will decongest the city, and it will also, enhance regional trade. So it is recognized. That is why it is recognized as part of the ECOWAS corridor. So it is important to us.
Member for Lower Salo.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The ECOWAS corridor, when is going to be started for construction?
The ECOWAS corridor has since started from Nigeria, no, not in the Gambia. I'm just trying to, so that you have a fuller understanding. It has started from Lagos, going through Benin, Togo, Ghana, then Burkina Faso, where they are now. Studies have also completed in countries like from Ivory Coast to Mali, Mali to Dakar, Dakar to Banjul. We are doing our studies now, especially, for the Bara Banjul, because that is a very technical, issue to look at. It's going to be a bridge, and then Banjul to Conakry, Banjul to Bissau, through Ziguinchor, Conakry, Sierra Leone back to Liberia to Cote d'Ivoire back to Lagos again. So it's a very important stretch. Other countries have started already, it's in phases. So here we had our meeting in March, and the feasibility missions will come for the study of some of our roads, and then budget will be provided through bilateral means for the construction of the corridor from Banjul to Bissau.
Member for Kiang West.
Honourable Minister, after you have thought it fitting to realign and you reprioritize the Brikama Buffalo to Mandinaring via Buffalo, why wasn't it necessary to inform the approving authority as the National Assembly where the budget was approved and the constituency representatives about this development?
Some of these things are taken at the ECOWAS forum, and when they inform us, of course, with our participation, we as a government, it's a policy matter to realign. Not all budgets that are approved are spent. Sometimes you can realign. That's a policy matter. You don't have to come to the National Assembly to inform them about it. If we are to come for every policy consideration here, I doubt whether you people will even have time for other things. So, yeah.
Thank you. Question number 165 of 2023 by the member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Could the Honourable Minister for Transport inform this August Assembly if there are plans to revitalize the Kundor ferry service that connect Nyani and Nyamina?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. This route was previously covered by the Barajala ferry. However, due to the age of that particular ferry and the length of the route, the ferry services has to suspend this service because the ferry does not have enough strength to safely cover the journey, and there were also no adequate rescue facilities in case there is an incident on the route. The route will be considered when there are adequate safety measures in place.
Honourable Speaker, based on his answer, he said the routes will be considered when there are adequate measures. When are we expecting those adequate measures in order for it to start?
Well, we work with the National Navy for the availability of some of these safety measures, especially rescue boats in some of these locations. So we will contact the Ministry of Defense to see whether they have any plans to have some of those safety measures in place in the rural areas, because it's also dangerous that you have a ferry that is not very strong to allow it to be carrying people and goods and services, only to have difficulties at sea, and there is nowhere where rescue can be made available. So that is why we thought it necessary to suspend it for the time being.
Yes, okay.
Member for Lower Salem.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thank you. Honourable Minister, in your submission, you said it's very dangerous ferries to carry people that are on services. The one that is connecting Nyamina, because I saw Nyamina. Now it's no more going to Nyamina. It's Nyamina to Kauru, Kung. And as you know, the ferry is not in good condition. And you said it's dangerous. What mechanism that you're going to use to suspend that ferry and bring a new ferry for us?
I mean, that is not a very long route, right? You have boats there that can always support, and the facility is not as treacherous as this particular route. This is much longer route, and may God forbid, if there are serious issues at sea, it will have to take a rescue mission coming all the way from Banjul or somewhere. Whereas in that Barajal area, the route is so short, and you also have smaller boats plying there, and we don't allow the ferry to be overloaded there. We don't allow it to carry beyond its maximum load, so it is still manageable.
Member for Janjambure.
Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, understanding the importance of that ferry service that actually connects northern part of the Gambia and the southern part of the Gambia, can you kindly inform this August Assembly when specifically your ministry would replace that ferry service in order to ease travels for residents?
Well, for the information of the Assembly, we are buying 2 new ferries for Banjul Bara, and we hope to replenish the provincial ferry services. This in addition to ongoing studies that we are doing to put a bridge over the River Gambia from Kelen Bustown Johnson to Bansang. So those things are going on, and as funds are available, of course, it is our wish that we have new ferries across the crossing points.
Member for Sane Mentoring.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, is there anything in place that you could provide for the northern and southern part of the Gambia in order to ease transportation for them, since the ferry could be on dangerous path? Thank you.
Yeah, we are doing the studies to look at bridging some of the critical sections of the River Gambia. The one on Kerawan is very critical, and some investors from France and also from China are talking to us for this particular one. The Janjambure one, we are also considering it. And if those two are done, definitely I think it will ease communication in that particular area.
Member for Kiang West.
Honourable Minister, since you have confirmed that you are trying to resolve ferry services across the rural areas, do you have any plan of putting a ferry service within Bintang and Kiang, where women transport their garden products, from Kiang towards Bintang, then to Brikama?
Well, without having to go into specificities, currently we are talking to the MCC, the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and they are engaging the Gambia government to revitalize river transport across the River Gambia. The initial setups and discussions are ongoing, and the feasibility studies will start very soon. And some of these vital old trading routes are our target for consideration.
Question number 166 of 2023 by the member for Kiang West.
Honourable Speaker, could the Honourable Minister for Transport, Honourable Minister for Works update this August Assembly on Sankandi Karantaba Road projects in Kia West?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The Kiang West Roads project has a total of 87 kilometers divided into two phases. Phase 1 includes Sankandi to Karantaba Road, which is about 39 kilometers and is 74% completed. The Phase 2 includes the remaining roads in Kiang West connecting Kemotur to Karantaba, Misra Tenda to Manduar, Manduar to Joli, Joli to Manduar again, Tankular, Keneba, and to the riverside. Then you come back to Jali Johnson to Jali Mosque, and then the Jali Clinic, which includes a total of 48 kilometers. The construction of Manduar to Tankular Road, which is in phase 2 of the project, has recently commenced, and the overall progress as of May 2023 stood at 20% completion.
Honourable Minister, the second phase construction, which has commenced from Manduari to Tankulari, they have paved the way up to the river.
Yes.
And the wharves fall under the Ministry of Transport.
Yeah.
Would they complete the road by building the wharf? Hence, they have gone up to the river side at Tankulari to ease transportation for people.
Well, that was not part of the original scope. You're right, because you engage us on this. We are considering it, but it's very expensive to do a swampy area. And as we told you, this is going to cost a lot of money. We have to look at what savings we are going to make in the project. If not, then we have to come back to the Assembly here to ask for additional funds to complete. But we are not making any promises yet. The study is indicating that it will cost us a lot of money to do that particular section. So when we are finished, we'll come back to you, and then we'll discuss with you as you are engaging us, and then we'll see what we can do in terms of, we are trying to make some savings on the first phase, and then see what we can use from that savings to do that additional short work. It's about 800 meters. So that's like a kilometer, which is like 23 or $24 million is extra. So it's a lot of money. We don't have it yet. We may include it in the budget for 2024. If it is approved, then we'll see what is possible. Yeah.
Honourable Minister, you have talked about some remote communities away from the main highway, but GSA was not part of those communities. GCA is away from Manduwari. Could you kindly inform the contractor to help us, at least give them a leveling on their roads from Manduwari to GCA so that to ease transportation for them?
Yes, we met the community last week before we traveled to the rural areas. We informed the contractor to help level the road for them as part of the efforts to help ease transportation in the area. However, because we are rushing into the rainy season, or we are already in the rainy season, there are certain targets that have to be met so that the road is secure for the area that they have already done to seal it. All their equipment are fully mobilized to finalize that one, but we have already informed them, and hopefully they will support that.
Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, since there are road constructions going on in some part of the country, and we are normally almost in the rainy season, and normally during the rainy season, road construction is not easy. In an instant, we had rain today. Will there be any road construction going on or not?
No, I mean, road construction can go until July, end of July. I mean, depending on the heaviness of the rains, we are hopeful that we can continue up to July, but that does not mean that work will stop. Those areas that will be concrete, of course, they can continue in the rainy season. Now, areas that actually will include asphalt or double surface dressing, of course, we will have to wait. But other things can continue, like the stockpile of basalt, the stockpile of laterite, the stockpile of bitumen, so that after the rainy seasons, you are fully ready to start the work. So that is why you have some activities going on, and this will continue even for these new roads. Thank you.
Member for Latikunda Sabeji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, I don't want to come in, but when he mentioned about the swampy corridor, which is part of phase 2, because I always said this, feasibility studies inform us the cost of the project. And now, feasibility study was done for both phase 1 and the phase 2. I don't know why the feasibility study doesn't involve that swampy corridor he mentioned about.
Actually, that particular part is off the highway to the riverside. If you are familiar with the area that he talks about, it's like a branching unit. So it goes to the other side of the village, which they want the contractor to do for them. And that's what we are also not very committed yet, because it is a swampy area and it may be very, very expensive to do. You know, you are part of the engineering core of my ministry. I mean, concrete works are more expensive than double surface dressing. So, and currently the contract specification is double surface dressing, of course, with the exception of those swampy areas that are within the scope of the work. So if we are going out of the scope of work and then we are going to do an alignment on a branching unit, which is not budgeted for, we have to consider it before we make any commitment.
Member for Lower Salo.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for that wonderful. Honourable Minister, the swampy you have mentioned, give a rough scale, an amount of 23 million. More to it, okay. Now we want you to go back and you make proper, proper ministers involved in this swamp, because already the project is there. Development doesn't stop. It's a collective responsibility for all of us, and we are representing the entire people. If you come here, we will approve that budget for you. Yes, Honourable Speaker.
That's good to hear. Okay.
Honourable Minister, Please go ahead.
Yes, if they will provide the funds, fine, excellent. Yes, okay. Yeah.
Member for Sanementre.
Thank you once again, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, since we are talking about the road connectivity across the country, not only Ken West, could you provide us with a percentage of completion of road of OIC project that affects Sanementre constituency? Thank you.
Honorable Member, the question is Sankandi Krantaba Road Project, and the answer also is based on those.
No, the speaker is very active today. Don't worry.
That is not admissible. Question number 167 of 2023 by the member for Bundung Kakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As the concern of the road users of Bundung, Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister of Transport, Work and Infrastructure inform the August Assembly the current status of the Bundung Road project and whether the contractor have any safety measures in place to cover the holes as we head to the rainy season?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Bundung Highway is one of the priority roads for construction under the OIC 50-kilometer urban roads project. Drainage works are currently in progress. However, due to the existing services, including GAMTEL and electrical poles belonging to NAWEC, the progress of work has slowed down. As a result, the street light poles, including the foundations, were removed to allow for the relocation of services, which includes GAMTEL fiber optic cables. The drainage works are scheduled to be completed by end of August 2023. The National Road Authority, in close coordination with the contractor, will ensure that all safety standards and regulations are met.
Thank you very much. As a project, I think before getting into any project, there must be a feasibility studies. And this road we're talking about, I just want to know whether there was any feasibility studies by engaging NAWEC and GAMTEL before the commencement of the project, because the project started on the 26th October to date. So, and the progress of the work is very slow. Please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Bundung Kakunda. Let me make this very clear. Most of the road construction works that we do here in the Gambia, we do EPC. And I think Honorable Member for Latikunda Savage will attest to this. EPC means we do the first surveys, and we establish the kilometers, we establish the length and the width, and then the properties along the lane, the right of way, and all those things. Now the detailed feasibility are done by the contractors under the EPC, which is engineering, procurement, and construction. Right now, so they can do in two ways: either to do the entire stretch of the roads under the project, or they can do it by section. And this is what is happening now. For example, on Bundung Road, the contractor will go there and do his own EPC survey and detailed planning. And then that is when the construction feasibility designs will be done and then costed and then validated by the contractor, the consultants, and also our engineers. So for the Bundung Road, even if the feasibility studies were done, what we have discovered actually is that the services that are impeding the progress of the work, for example, the NAWEC electricity cables that cuts across from one end of the road to the other. NAWEC itself does not have the designs of they don't have the topography of the designs of their infrastructure. So you will be working on, that's why you will see contractors working on the roads, and then they will cut the cables. There will be no water and electricity for a whole day, or the Gamtel cables, you will see them cut. Because the service providers of these services don't actually have the layout maps of where their cables are laid. So it's always a guesswork. You will have to jump dig, and then, I saw that, yes, from point 0.000 to say 100 meters, there is no cable laid there. So you dig that one. But even there, if you dig deep, sometimes the cables are buried 2 meters below. And then it is only when you discover, then you have to stop work, jump that particular section, go to another place. So it is extremely very, very, very difficult. That is why work has been, very slow in that area. But thankfully, all the Gamtel services have been moved. We are now moving the water cables from the right of way. And that is why we set August as a very, a good date that all these services will be done. The drainage will be completely finished. And before then, maybe within the next 3 weeks, we will resurface that, grade that particular road to make it motorable. And immediately after the rains, we will seal it. Thank you.
Yes, I have a supplementary question.
I just want to observe or to rise on a point of order, please, Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Hello? No, I have not given you the floor. Please decide on what to do.
Point of order, please.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I want to rise on order 43. Number 3, the time taken to ask supplementary questions shall be no longer than 1 minute, and an answer to a supplementary question shall no longer than 2 minutes. And I think the Honourable Minister is taking a lot of time to respond to members. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Order sustained. The Minister, note that down. And members, supplementary question cannot be more than 1 minute. And when answering, thank you. Thank you, Honourable Member. Point of order noted.
Yes, thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for the update. Looking at the current status of the road, I don't think that drain will be finished. But I just want to know...
Honourable Member, can you please speak a bit louder?
Do you have any plan to at least better the status of the highway right now, the road, before the rainy season? Because last year it was terrible. And I don't think, based on what is happening in that place, I don't think it will be done by August.
That's an opinion. I'm telling you the timetable that we have, and we go by a timetable. With all the progress that we have seen, actually, removing the pipes there was the major problem. Now that those are done, doing the concrete is easier, and then, sealing the concrete. But we will also, surface grade the road to make it motorable, yeah? Yeah.
Thank you. Member for Latikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, when we signed these contracts with these two contractors, SSTP, SST, CSC, and Pabifort, we gave them 14 months to complete this work. And now it has gone, I think, close to 2 years now. They are still less than 5%. And I'm sure this is where Bundum falls. What's the way forward for these two OIC projects, Lot 1, Lot 2? Contract given for 14 months, closely 2 years has elapsed without a percentage completion of 5%. What's the way forward for these two projects, please?
Okay, let me make a correction in the first place. All of them are way, way, way beyond 5%. Some of them, one of them is even into 20s, and the other one is going close to 20. I don't know how long you did not visit these roads, but I will encourage you to do, because almost all the roads that have started, they have started priming them, and the asphalting will start very soon, and also all the concrete works of all the roads will complete. The drainage will be completed, The demolition exercise of, all the roads that are part of the OIC will be completed by end of July. The right-of-way will be given by first week of August. So that is like almost 60% of the work done. And I can tell you that all the contractors are stockpiling. So basically, it is incorrect to say that they are 5%. And secondly, their status is that we have successfully negotiated extension of the contracts to 2024 February. That's the end date for the completion. Honorable Janjambura, I guess I'm within 2 minutes, yeah? Okay.
Member for Sanementring.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your answers, you've talked about the electricity poles that were in use prior to the reconstruction of the roads. What do you do with the poles that were uprooted?
We are recycling them. Actually, these are NAWEC properties. So, but at the NRA, we are parking them there so that if NAWEC wants to use them, they can reuse them. But for us now, for the OIC 50 kilometers, on all the corridors, there will be solar electric lights, that we will use on all the roads.
Member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, my question is, why is the contract divided into different lots? Because if it should have been a one-off contract to be given to the contractor to be responsible of all, that would have easy situation than giving it to the pavement, the concrete pavement, the electrical work, the gamtel work with different contractors. Hope that's not what is causing the delay in the job.
Yeah, we have learned some lessons from this. You're right. If we had wholly contracted the contractors to be responsible for the drainage work, the relocation of services, and the construction of road, it would have been easier because the onus now rely on them. However, at the design stage, it was thought necessary to also include a lot of Gambians to benefit from this project. So that is why it was designed in a way that the subcontractors would be Gambians to relocate the services. And you remember, I even had to cancel some of them to bring in the National Army to support us. That was to fast track the work. But yes, I think in future contracts, some of these things will be considered. Yeah.
Member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a very interesting road, the Bundu Road, which has always been constructed and dilapidated, constructed on a continuous basis. Every 2 or 3 years, it's being constructed, but it turns out to be dilapidating. So would your ministry really put your monitoring gear into operation to ensure that this time around we have value for money and quality construction on this Bundu Road? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Woodley. I can assure you that quality will not be compromised according to the specifications. If you look at the standard that we are putting in on the OIC, you will agree with me that the outcome of the construction of these roads will be really very good. Standard is very high, and the kind of materials and engineering work that goes into it has not been seen anywhere in this country before. Yeah.
The member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, since one of the issues causing the delay in the constructions of the roads is the layout mapping to indicate the location of services such as water pipes, fiber optic cables, and electric cables. So would it now be a standard set by your ministry in the newly constructed roads?
Yes, we've now resolved that if we are going to do the roads, we provide the right of way first. and we ensure that the services are relocated, because that's like 20 to 30% of the work. In terms of time, it takes a lot of time to bring the materials. It takes a lot of time to even negotiate the contractors for the subcontracting. It takes special skills to even relocate this. You need to have the experience, and that is why most of the subcontractors are really former retired NAWEC staff, because you have to have experience in this to be able to do it. Even when we brought in the army, we have to rely on the participation of NAWEC to help us transfer the services. If not, you cannot do it, because if you transfer the water pipes alone, you need to do pressure testing of the water. If you don't understand that, you cannot do it. So really, right of way is something now that we are taking very seriously. We provide that, especially in the urban area.
Question number 168 of 2023 by the member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, could the Honourable Minister for Works update this August Assembly on the level of progress in the construction of the main ring canal in Banjul as part of the Banjul Road Rehabilitation Project?
I don't think I have this question, because what I have is 170 Musa Cham, Serakunda.
I don't have 168 and 169.
No, I don't have 168 and 169, but you can ask the question. I think I will answer.
Okay.
Yes, can you repeat it?
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honourable, please take your seat, please. Honourable Minister, you can wait. Honourable Minister, you can wait.
Let me check maybe is there.
Honourable members, I was trying to confer with the table office as to why those questions were not sent to the Minister for Works, Transport, Works and Infrastructure, and I'm being informed that all of them were sent in a letter, but he said maybe, at the ministry they may have sent in various units of the ministries to provide a response. What he's telling me, maybe, but that is not the side of the minister's story. That's the side of table office. So in the circumstances, was trying to look at its admissibility, and in accordance with standing orders, I ask notices of questions, which of course have a period of which should be given, and also unless as well if it is matter of urgency, then oral question could be. But meanwhile, they are checking with their records and also the order paper. I want us to proceed to the question that he has, that is 170, and then meanwhile I will come back to this assembly for decision on 168 and 169. Question number 170 of 2023 by the member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, could the Honourable Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure update this August Assembly on the state of the proposed OIC road from London Corner to Bundung Bohol, starting from Safidin?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The Bundung Bohol, starting from Safidin Road, referred to as Reverend Jesse Fai Road, is under the OIC 50-kilometer urban roads project, Lot 1. The acquisition of the right-of-way and the relocation of services is currently underway, and the civil works will commence immediately after the rainy season.
Supplementary question. Since the construction of roads in the urban areas involve demolition of structures, does your ministry factor the compensation package to the affected compounds or yard owners?
It's a very difficult question right now because the budget that we have really will be far less than the anticipated compensation of the affected properties. And that is why yesterday I hinted that we may need to come to the National Assembly for support of the Ministry of Finance, because we budgeted for $500 million. That is for the compensation of properties. We were given only $150 million. So the shortfall is huge. And we are having a lot of challenges now because people will not allow us to touch their properties if we don't compensate them. And if we don't also demolish, work will not progress. So we are in a very precarious dilemma right now as a country. The way people settled in the urban areas is haphazard, and to do proper roads will require that we intrude into properties. So really, this particular supplementary question, I think I'll go back, sit with my team and bring a detailed costing of the demolition exercise, and then we discuss a way forward as a country. Thank you.
Another supplementary. Does the project include storm drains?
Yes, I mean, all the roadworks will include drainage for storm water to pass through. And we have identified outfalls for the rainwater to be emptied into. In areas where we are far from some of these outfalls, we are thinking of putting up some artificial water holding areas, ponds, that can be used by the municipalities for greening, or we can do it in a way that when the rain subsides, we open the valves for this storm water to pass through from these artificial water holding ponds.
Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, we are told that the work will start after the rainy season. Can you tell us which actually the month that the work will start?
The heavy rains actually in August, September, then October we start the rain. We start the actual work. Yeah. Provided the rainfall season does not go deep into October. But normally it's October that we start the work after the rains.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This is just confirmation, sort of. You said it is part of the OIC 50-kilometer road, and you also mentioned that the work will begin after rainy season. And currently there are demarcations also in my area, Talinding Koloban Road. They all fall under the same category. The works will commence after rainy season.
No, well, the Talindings is actually concrete works. Yes. So provided that we have the funds for the demolition, we can demolish and start the work as immediately as possible, as quickly as possible. Since those are concrete works, the rainy season will not actually stop the work. Yeah.
Okay. Question number 171 of Member for Joshua.
Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, what plans does your ministry have to collaborate with the Ministry of Lands with fiscal planning so that you can avoid this unnecessary compensation? Because if you look at the way things are going, if there is no control on proper building permits, at the end of the day, we end up compensating than building roads. What plan do you have to work with them to avoid all these things?
Thank you. You are right. I mean, the cost of compensation is very high now on the road construction budget, but thankfully we are working very closely now with the Ministry of Lands. We have a joint committee now. We also have a road reserve committee that discusses all these issues, including technicians of both ministries and the National Road Authority, but also NAWEC and GAMTEL, so that in addition to compounds or land owners, yard owners not encroaching on the roads, any new service that is going to be built now or laid will take into consideration the right of way. So we have this committee now, and then we are working very, very cordially with all the stakeholders in that area.
Member for Bundung Kakunda.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Just to confirm, the same road, was it going to link from the Johnson Safedin to Nusrat to Talinding Highway? Okay, thank you.
You mean the Talinding Highway, not the Talinding Highway, but the Bundung Highway from that particular
Across
back?
the Bundung Highway to Nusrat Johnson to the
No,
Highway?
The Nusrat Johnson is not included.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe we can consider that as part of an addendum.
All right, thank you.
Question number 171 of 2023 by the member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Could the Honourable Minister for Transport Works inform this August Assembly on his ministry's plan to construct the route linking Kanifing South to Kairaba Avenue from the main mosque?
Honorable Speaker, the road linking Kanifing South to Kairaba Avenue from the main mosque is not part of the roads recently launched for construction commencing this year. In the same vein, a parallel road linking Kairaba Avenue to the National Environment Agency and Joswang is being constructed under the OIC 50-kilometer road project. Meanwhile, the National Road Authority has plans to construct key roads to act as major alternative routes for the distribution of traffic flow between these communities and mainland Serekunda.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The supplementary questions, the Sankun's Road, what plans do you have to grade it before the rainy season?
Well, we can do that for you. I know you have been pestering us about this road.
Thank you.
Maybe you can use your construction company and do some services free for the community.
Just give us fuel, we'll do it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Any supplementary? Honorable members, in accordance with question with order 41-2, which read, any questions which appears on the order paper. The Honourable Minister, I have not released you. Question in accordance with order 41-2, and it reads, any question which appears on the order paper and which is not disposed of by the time the Assembly adjourns on a Wednesday shall be placed on an order paper provided by the Assembly Business Committee for answer on another day of that week. Any question which appears on the order paper and which is not disposed of by the time the Assembly adjourns on a Friday shall receive a written answer within 2 clear working days. Accordingly, questions number 168 of 2023 and 169 of 2023 are hereby referred to the ABC in accordance with 41-2. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure, for providing answers to this August Assembly. Clerk.
Honourable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources.
Question for oral answer. Question for which 2 notices were given to the Honourable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources by Honourable Members for oral reply. May I now call upon the Honourable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources to proceed to the podium. Question number 120 of 2023 by the member for Basse.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the collection and management of waste is becoming a problematic for the country. Could the Honourable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources inform this August Assembly if her ministry have any plans of engaging or inviting international stakeholders for waste recycling?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and Honourable National Assembly members. It is vital to note that the management of waste in any given local government area is one of the key functions of the councils. Councils are mandated by law to manage the collection of waste within their respective jurisdictions. The Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, through the National Environment Agency, is responsible for the formulation of policies to regulate waste management. Notwithstanding institutions' respective mandates, the Ministry is also ready to receive international stakeholders who shows interest in managing waste, including recycling. On time, ultimately, the technical experts and mandate lies within NEA and Council respectively, with my ministries providing oversight function and the necessary political support. Additionally, to the questions provided, I am happy to inform you through the government of the Gambia, by the NEA, we have provided dustbin to council some months back, about 600, just to show you how much committed and the goal we are having in solving the issue of waste-related matters. We also provided tricycles to, tricycles to the health facility, 10 of it some months ago. And recently, just last week, Wednesday, we provided 35 tricycles to the council to facilitate their efforts in collecting waste. But again, we have to understand, as per the waste, the Anti-Litter Bill Act, Part 4 and 5, you can refer to, all indicates that council is the responsible agents or unit to collect, manage to that extent, and also take the responsibility to prevent the creation of litter within their jurisdictions. They also have the means or the mandate to control and ensure the disposal of litters, in this case also by collecting them. But we will do our best. It is a collective responsibility, and the ministry and the government as a whole is not shying away from its general responsibility to give the best in mitigating this chronic
Speaker, point of order, please.
There is a point of order, Honourable Minister, from the member for Janjamure. Can we hear that point of order, sir?
I still want to rise on order 43, number 4. Supplementary questions shall not be in order.
Please, order, allow him to continue his submission, please. Honourable member, please proceed.
Yes, I'm just trying to get to my reference. Huh? I still rise on section 43. Number 3, the time taken to ask a supplementary question shall be no longer than 1 minute, and an answer to a supplementary question shall be no longer than 2 minutes. This period may be extended at the discretion of the Speaker, and I kindly want you to remind the Honourable Minister to take note of the time in responding to members' questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member for Janjamure. The Minister is not answering to a supplementary question, but a substantive question, which have no time limit. Honourable Minister, please proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Additionally, I want to also reiterate the proactiveness of the National Assembly Select Committee on the Environment to join hands with this ministry and the councils to also find lasting solution to this chronic challenge of this country. I've not seen them visit my ministry, but I've once met with the chairman in one of our engagements, but I think it should be more appropriate that we put hands together and then join force and thinking and efforts in solving this problem as a country. We have a task force that has been initiated by the NEA. So it will be vital that the task force sit-ins is attended by at least a member of this committee. That one I just want to relate because I have seen the emphasis and the interest of this august body in managing waste of this country. It is not healthy, it is not nice to call ourselves smiling coast when we have litter all over us. So on that note, I submit for any further questions to that matter.
Honourable Member, do you have any supplementary question?
Supplementary question.
Member for Serekunda.
Yes, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Given that to manage waste requires a lot of funds, and as at now, the only council that generates more than $100 million is the KMC, Kanifi Municipal Council. And waste is now regarded as a resource. It can generate revenue for the government, it can also create employment, and if properly treated, the methane gas can also generate renewable energy. So is it not wise for your ministry and the council, together with the local government ministries, sit together, go to the drawing board, and make provisions and take over that responsibility?
Thank you, Honourable Member. I just want to draw attention to the size of the Gambia. Since I took over as the minister, I've engaged several interested parties on this waste to energy and other related waste management techniques or investment interests. But again, when we further dwell onto the feasibility of this as per the investment portfolio, we only notice that the capacity of the waste available in the country is too small to sustain such kinds of investment. So that has been key challenge that we also have to entice investors to continue on this footprint. But last week, Friday, my ministry met with the EU ambassador, who has hinted us that they have in a fund of over $20 million to support in managing a sanitary landfill that will not only be just the means of dumping and managing waste, but it will also have other components inbuilt to have all that you have put in place, like a moderate energy for the community, and also standard form that will also make the land not only for waste dumping, but also recreation centers and other modern standard landfills that we have in other countries. The token is in place. Join us in prayers and efforts to make sure that we're able to implement this accordingly. But I want to inform you that the ministry under NEA have already done all the needfuls in having these sanitary landfills. One in Faraba Banta has already been tested to be feasible for the use of a sanitary landfill. But I found them to be in the process of acquiring the land. And then you know how challenging it is to get land from the community. We have in stumbling blocks, and I urge the National Assembly members to join us in this negotiation. When we are able to acquire this land from the community, that's going to be a very important start for EU to come in and support in having these long-lasting waiting sanitary landfills, not only to support the collection of waste, but to have at least a sustainable disposal sites for the waste that we are collecting that will be permanent, not temporal, as in the case of the backward and other dump sites. Thank you.
Question number 121 of 2023 by the member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, as we approach the rainy season, we were informed by the Honourable Minister for Environment that funds have been secured to augment the water canal that runs from Abuko through London Corner to Kotu Stream. Could the Honourable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources inform this August Assembly when the project will commence?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and Honourable National Assembly Member. The project for the mitigation of floods has already started by NEA. But before I proceed on the answer, I just want to inform this body that the Vice President's office, who has been the office responsible for overseeing the National Environment Agency's activity, has taken over full-fledged of this activity, as informed by the Vice President yesterday in his deliberations. So henceforth, all these matters are coordinated and supervised by the Office of the Vice President. This was the time when I was overseeing before, during the then Vice President and also before the appointment of the new Vice President. But now this assignment has been now handed over to the Office of the Vice President, and they are in full charge, and implementation is in full gear. We had our task force meeting chaired by the Vice President, the technical steering committee meeting chaired by the Vice President, and the disbursement of funds and implementations have already started. If any of you have the opportunity to visit Jabang and other areas, you will see work in progress. It is a huge amount of money needed to do this. But on a more progressive note, I want to happily inform you that the West Africa Coastal Resilience Project, WACA, that is the $45 million from the World Bank to be implemented by my ministry, has already been officially launched. And it's a 5-year project. In the next 2 years, coming to the 5 years, we expect to run down through the implementation successfully. And when that is successfully implemented, we expect it to take care of a lasting solution of the greater Banjul area and the Brikama channel, linking from the Brikama to the Kotu stream and also to the riverside. So that one is going to present a lasting solution for us. The key results under that project would be strengthen the resilience to flood risk, improve the attractiveness and accessibility of the rain front, recreation purposes, biodiversity.
Sorry, observation. I'm satisfied with the answers, no justification.
Thank you.
I have a supplementary question here. Honorable Speaker, the project I'm talking about is something that I have been following since I was a councillor. It started with the National Ministry of Works. I was told by the director of NRA that the designs for the culverts have already been done. And the funds from the World Bank has already been secured but shifted to the Ministry of Environment, and the works is to commence. So that's what I'm asking about. And you have stood in this podium and said the funds have already been secured. Thank you.
I cannot deny that I did not say it, but I know it's a project that has already been signed by the government of the Gambia since December 2022. And we have officially launched the project 30th of May 2023, that is last month. So I assure you in the next 5 years it will be implemented. Thank you.
Any other supplementary question? Thank you, Honourable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources for those answers provided to this August Assembly. Clerk? Clerk, please, wait. Honourable members, I want to remind honourable members to be okay with the standing orders. Earlier on, we had some heated debate on admissibility of supplementary questions and also on point of order. Nominated member Kebalang Fofana quoted Order 43 sub 4, which reads, a supplementary question shall not be in order if it introduces matters not included in the original question and the answers provided. Full stop. That's one part. And another part, the same 4 said, for the avoidance of doubt, whether a supplementary question is within remit shall be determined on answering by the Vice President, Minister, or member answering question on behalf of the National Assembly, on behalf of the Assembly Authority. Meaning, if the Vice President is answering question or a minister or any member on behalf of the authority, and we pose question to them, is for that minister or the Vice President to determine if that question is within his or her own remit or purview, and also the way he will answer it, or whether he will answer it or not. That's very clear. That's this last part. And on the first part, which says, if the question shall not be in order, if it introduces matters not included in the original question and or the answer provided. And that is when the question is not in order. And Order 18 reads, Order 18 reads, any member deviating from these standing orders may be immediately called to order by the Speaker or by any other member rising on a point of order. A member rising on a point of order in accordance with Standing Order 32(1)A, that is permissible interruption, shall direct attention to the point he or she desires to bring to notice and submit the same to the Speaker for decision. The earlier one says the question will not be if it is out of order. And this is telling us who can draw or who can rise to the point of order. And it's telling us either the Speaker or any member. And on 19, decision of the Speaker. When the question of order has been stated, the member who raised it shall resume his or her seat, and no other member, except by leave of the Speaker, shall rise until the Speaker has decided the question, after which the member who was addressing the Assembly at the time the question was raised shall be entitled to proceed with his or her speech, subject to the ruling of the Speaker. And Order 39(1) and 2 reads, the Speaker's duties as to questions. 39(1), the Speaker, subject to Standing Order 38, shall be the sole judge of the admissibility of a question. And 2, if the Speaker is of the opinion that any question which a member proposes to ask infringes the provision of standing orders or is in any way an abuse of the right of questioning, he or she may direct A, that the member concerned be informed that the question is out of order, or B, that the question be allowed in such form and with such reasons as he or she considers proper. So, honorable members, it is very clear that when we are on questions and answers, it's the Speaker or any other member's responsibility to point to a point of order, whether the question is out of order or not, or a member speaking, or a minister or the Vice President is out of order, and it's for the Speaker to decide. I want honorable members to obey themselves with the standing orders. It's not the minister or a Vice President to decide whether the question posed to him or her is out of order. That is not accurate. Thank you very much, honorable members. That was by way of information for this August Assembly as to what happened earlier on, and for honorable members to obey themselves with the standing orders. I think this is a good time for us to break. I saw some honorable members. It is almost 2:30, I want us to break for lunch and prayer and resume at 3:30. The assembly is suspended.